Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 820 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles, back from the beach, back from Florida. I'm joined, as always, by Ben Funky Askren and James Dean Rader. What's going on, guys? Happy Tuesday. How we doing? It's Funky Fresh Week for Ben.
It is.
What does that mean?
Sir. We had scrambling camp this week. We started Sunday night. It was really good. I told you guys I was doing it in our facility because in 2020, they kicked us out. But I told, listen, Corona don't know how to get funky. So it didn't bother them. We still had a sold out camp. We still got down. We still learned some scramble moves. 2021, they still wouldn't let us rent. And so, next year we're probably going to move it back into an overnight facility. It just makes it way easier for the parents to drop the kids off. And, we still have kids from 19 states at this camp, but usually it's more like 25 to 30.
Nice.
Yeah.
As we know, COVID-19, clueless in far ankle scrambles.
Does not know what it's doing.
That's the real. Yeah, no idea. So that's cool. Excited about that. There's a lot for us to talk about. Cadet Worlds is now done. It is over. Team USA and men's freestyle finished on top. Some really strong performances for sure. A lot of medals in all. And, obviously no Russia there, which is a bummer. Hey, yourself.
That's our first Cadet World title ever? Really?
Yes.
I was kind of shocked when I read that. I didn't realize. I mean, I knew we didn't do it frequently, but I was very surprised that was the first one. I know.
We won juniors recently.
We did win. Historically, we didn't go, though. Like, say, in the early 2000s, I don't think we went to that event.
Right. True.
So, but very, very cool. Russia, I look back, historically, Russia is not that great at U17s, Christian, because I thought the same thing. Oh, Russia's not there. They're probably really awesome. But I looked back. I think they were fourth last year. They obviously didn't do it in 2020. I think they were second in 2019. They did win one of them, but then they were fourth again somewhere. So it wasn't like they were like really, really good like they have in the senior level.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they would have brought some really good competitors, but I don't know that they would have stopped us from winning.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I know there's way more focus probably on the junior level and beyond for Russia, but right now there's nothing. So some really outstanding performances. We had golds from Dom Munaretto at 45, Luke Lilladal at 51, Joe Seeley at 71, and Coy Hopke at 110. Ben, who were the standouts for you? I know I have two guys in my mind that I thought were just cut above.
Yeah. I think it's probably gonna be the same ones. Hey, we had a bunch of second places too. We should talk about them also. Ones that had above are Luke Lilladal and Joe Seeley. These guys are really good. Now, I did look back to. This is not a take away from Seeley because I think Seeley is really, really, really good. But the guy that he beat in the finals was at Journeyman. And he was good, but not great. So one of my kids pointed that out to me. But I'm so impressed with him. I think he can score from a bunch of different ways. I think he wrestles a hard pace. I haven't really watched him that much. I'd love to watch him more moving forward. And I'm sure he's going to be at Who's Number One. And I'm sure I'll get to see him a whole bunch more.
The thought was of his finals opponent. That was probably his third toughest opponent that he had at Cadet Worlds. He definitely hit tougher guys on his side of the bracket, so you can't just watch the final. But yeah, his skill set's really diverse, physically pretty talented kid. He's got a lot of skills, a lot of ways to score. And Bray has been talking this dude up for a while and made him the number one kid in his class a while ago, and you're kind of
So I guess I kind of tried to look back through his track profile, and maybe Wyoming Sam does a bunch of events on Full Arena because I couldn't find a ton of results from this year. But so I guess he's from North Carolina. What club did he grow up in? And then is it just one of those things where he thinks he outgrew, and I guess there's nowhere else in North Carolina to go, so you got to go to Pennsylvania. I'm not a big fan of kids moving. Maybe this seems like an exception where he probably should have done.
I don't know what he's doing in North Carolina seems to be freaking working. But I know Mike Machiavello's been a coach of his for a period of time. He's from High Point. It's in that near Raleigh,
triad area.
triangle area for sure. So yeah, but he's I guess he's moving on. But yeah, there's no.
Well, he was already at Sem last year, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. As a freshman, though, he was in North Carolina.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
So
he's good. He's very, very, again, very diverse. He actually beat a couple of my guys, so we got to try to get him back. But especially the Zane Licht match at UWW Cats. I don't know if it was the quarters or semis. I don't remember. But Zane's really got some tricky things, and he's got kind of a lot of explosiveness too. So sometimes he can really go through people. And I was just really impressed because I thought Zane did a lot of good things, and Sealy evaded them all. I think maybe Zane got one push out or something like that. It wasn't really competitive, and I was like, it was one of those things where I wasn't like sad. I'm like, oh, Zane wrestled terrible. It's like, I kind of did good, but kid's just really, really freaking good.
yeah, I think Sealy's one of those kind of kids.
He's good at ankle picks and finishing quick, like with that double.
Yes. 100%. Uh-oh.
You there?
Oh, you guys went silent for me. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
All right, sorry. And Lilidal, I would actually say Sealy's very impressive. I'd actually Lilidal's more impressive to me. Obviously, I knew he was good, but I had watched him lose a couple matches where I wasn't like all that impressed with him, or maybe I thought the hype was more in that. But then, obviously, this year when he won Super 32, then he turns around and what he did to Bo Bassett, it was like, oh my God. And then he looked outstanding at Worlds.
I think he's made another jump since Cadet Silver a year ago. He seems to be,
yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, tremendously improved to where I thought he's a little guy, he's a tough little scrapper, to now I'm like, this is an extremely elite high school wrestler and a must-get recruit, and just the way he can get to legs, how well he reattacks, how he can get to ankles, attacking both sides. I think he's got good speed. He's a pretty complete package, and
agreed totally.
He kind of blew me away this weekend. And
does he have another year at this age group or no?
That is a great question. I am
because sometimes it's hard to tell.
It is hard to tell.
No, I'm just saying, like, if you haven't seen a ton of their term results, I mean, like, obviously, if I look at their, say Fargo, and they were cadet last year, I know they're not cadet next year because they only have 2 years, but in UWWs, they got 3 years, and sometimes it's hard finding, like, schoolboy results, especially because that 3 years ago, their first year would have been the Corona year, so there was almost no competition. So some of these guys, it's like, you don't know.
I'm with you, big dog. So he's class of 24. Junior, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if he will or won't be back at cadets, but he'll be a factor at the junior level. Maybe not first year junior. That'll be tough because he's going to be at like a 50, 55, 57 type of weight. Those are always tough.
They moved it up. No, wait, juniors is 57 also. Yeah, it's gonna be tough for him because back when they used to have that what was the weight Spencer Lee won at 110? That was always kind of dominated 50. By a younger guy, generally speaking.
Yeah. Spencer 150, his
50,
yeah, that was a junior world title.
Yeah, and I think there was a 52 there in there somewhere for a little bit, and then they ended up moving it up. It is kind of weird they moved it up. Hey, totally off topic. You want to hear something else random?
Oh yeah.
About weight classes? Did you know the 16U women, their lightest weight is heavier than the 16U men's? That's nonsense.
What? That's true.
Cadet women, this is true. Go look at the bracket. 16U women, the lightest weight class is 94, while 16U men, the lightest weight is 88 pounds. Makes no sense whatsoever.
Well,
I mean, I think they should probably do away with 16U 88. Why?
Well, girls hit puberty sooner, faster.
Doesn't mean they're bigger.
Well, I guess for a younger age group. Listen, are you trying to make sense of weight classes? Because
Dr. Piles.
That's a waste of time.
Well, it's the same organization and it's the same age group, so you would think that those would be the same. Median.
We have different Greco weights in freestyle. It's
not in USA Wrestling.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I just meant in international.
Oh, damn.
What?
Hold on. I'm doing something right here. This is not what would have guessed at all. Oh my gosh, Christian Biles!
What? I don't know what's
You
happening.
blew my head, blew my mind.
The average
You know
weight
what
of
the-
a
the
16-year woman.
The average weight of a 16-year-old female is heavier than the average weight of a 16-year-old male. I don't know what to do right now. I feel like I need to retire
Everything
from the show.
Ben thought he knew.
What?
I believe it.
You did. I don't know if I believe Google for the first time ever in my life, because usually I just see what Google says and I say, okay.
As someone who was very, very small all through high school, I saw a lot of
The females was big and scary.
Big, intimidating women. Yeah.
Okay.
Buffalo Gap
All
High
right,
School's
let me
full
blow
of
your
them.
mind again here, Christian.
Oh,
the
my
average
God.
weight of an 18-year-old female in America is less than the average weight of an average 17-year-old.
It's almost as though that's when the men grow.
Well, no. The 18-year-old female is less than 17-year-old female. So maybe they decided to start working out or something. I don't know.
Oh, well, that doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make any sense.
But yeah, okay.
Wow.
That doesn't seem like an
my mind is
accurate
blown.
What is this on?
study.
Are you on Ask Jeeves? Where are you finding this information?
That's cheap. Hold
Okay.
on. International. Oh, what in the hell?
We may have-
All right,
we
move
may have
on.
lost.
Let's talk about more Lilidal, Sealy. These
You're
guys
not
are
gonna
really,
stop.
really
You're
good.
not gonna stop looking it up, though. I know.
Yeah,
we're
I'm
gonna talk.
trying to
We're
find-
gonna
I'm
get
trying to
like
make
2
sure.
minutes down. Talk about Dom Monaretto or something. And then you're like, oh, look at this, and we're talking about some growth patterns.
Oh my God, I feel like an idiot. How would I not have known that average 16-year-olds or females are more than males? I still don't know if I believe it. I don't know if I get down with this.
Look into it.
little.
Alex Jones might have the documents on that.
He killed that Iranian in the finals with reattacks. And
Yeah.
Ben, I want to get your take on this. Are
Reattach's
kids
good.
Well, I was gonna say, are kids getting better at reattacks? I feel like, 5-10 years ago, like it was like, all right, whoever's got the better like single leg, like reattacks weren't as the thing. They were still a huge thing at the college level, but high school level, it was you got to get a good like single leg. But now, like, I feel like kids are so good at reattacks.
Yeah, so I guess I would push back on that, and I would say that the down block go behind in its current incarnation is not 10 years old. I would say probably 5 to 8, somewhere in there. Where you actually like flow behind them, where they as they're coming in, boom, we hit our shoulder down and then catch the corner. Like that wasn't happening 10 years ago. So that's a newer thing. And then now the one that I don't want to say Yanni made it popular, but maybe he did. So it was him. I know Keegan was showing it when he taught camp here in May. Is that when they fake, you just drop in on the ankle. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Where they just drop down and catch, and that was kind of what Lilidal did a couple times. So yeah, I think that's
you gotta hide them ankles wrestling Lilidal.
Call it whatever. I do feel like there's way more prevalence. Like if you watch Super 32, now
I'm agreeing.
All levels of reattacks have like taken off and accelerated at the high school level.
Well, that's what I was. This is what I was lecturing on yesterday. It's kind of like how wrestling works, right? I think wrestling works and it probably is most of life, but I'm most tuned into wrestling. It's like, okay, if JD does a move and it works for him, he's like, cool, let me do this. Then Christian's like, oh, JD's doing a cool move, let me try that. And if it doesn't work, and then I try it and it doesn't work, then
it dies out.
It dies out. It'll stay with JD. But now Christian is like, wow, that's awesome. Then I see it, and I'm like, wow, that's awesome. And then this is kind of how moves gain prevalence because they actually work for people. But then the defense is always like a couple years behind. Because think about it, if JD's the only one doing this move and I'm a college coach, why am I going to bother learning how to stop a move that one person is doing? But by the time half the people are doing it, it's like, damn, like we got to figure this out. We got to figure it out big time. Yeah. So yes, I think reattacks are very popular. I don't think they're going away anytime soon. I mean, the hilarious the problem with reattacks being so good though, if you guys think about it, is if reattacks are that good and the benefit to me shooting then goes down because if I have a good chance of getting reattacked, I'm less likely to shoot. But so you can't reattack if you don't shoot. So if the reattacks get so good, people stop shooting, and then people will stop being good at reattacks because people aren't shooting, and probably start from scratch there.
There you go.
Something
for your kind of a question back. Your Funky Fresh camp. How do you structure that a camp that's just about scrambling? Where do you spend like the most time? Which position?
I mean, we break down. So on our first session was far ankle, a whole session, 2.5 hours. And yesterday we spent both 2.5 hour sessions only on answer position. I kind of thought I was going to do it one. I kind of knew like I probably won't get through the entirety of this.
You call answer?
Section,
That's what you call like backdoor finish.
You sit the middle and then attack 2 hands to 1 leg, whether you're going here or whether you swim through and go there. There's obviously a few other places to get from it, but then the finish past that, there's just like there is a litany of things that can happen that you need to talk about.
Got it.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Got it.
So hey, Coy Hopke. You know what's funny? He grew up in Wisconsin, and I didn't watch him all that much. He's damn good, really good.
Yeah, he did it.
I'm always hesitant to like. Are you seeing something technical in him that you really like? Because when age level kids in America have success at heavyweight, I'm just hesitant to say, oh well, he's a Cadet World champ. A lot of times the world isn't as deep at heavyweight.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I would just say the first time I watched him a lot was I was a cadet duels coach. And he just like was intuitive about what positions he wanted to be in. He was really aggressive. And I think, obviously, well, number one, the heavyweights have less skills. Let's just be serious about it. But as you move forward, the heavyweights will probably still have a lack of, I don't say a lack of skills. There's just a lot of things you can't do when your bodies are that size,
right.
And so, I think he's going to continue to get a lot better. And I was, I think he's been one of the better guys of the last 2024.
Yeah. And another thing for Team USA, we had a couple silvers that really very reasonably could have been golds. Jax Forrest and Tyler Kasich. Jax he was up. He was kind of cruising, and then he got headlocked twice for 8
real
points.
What was he doing?
8 points, and he's still like, I think he lost by criteria or something.
This is his semifinal we're showing right now. He came up clutch.
They challenged that second headlock.
Yeah.
Right. When I'm saying, Jax Forrest. I don't know how to feel about him yet because he's one of those guys that I think it's going to be either like he's really, really, really amazing or he kind of fades away because he's one of the guys. He does kind of a lot of different things and he does some great things, and then you see him do some terrible things. Like he got headlocked twice, literally by the same left-handed headlock within a 30-second period. But that segment in the semis where he won, I don't know if we're gonna bring that up. It was freaking genius. He realized he needed to push him backwards to push him out, right? Like holy shit! Like to have the like thought process to do that in a moment is like wow, that was smart, And then he realizes the guy was resisting, so then he did that like I don't know even what you call it, a back hook trip with he hooked him with his foot, and then wrestled back into him. Like that was beautiful.
Yeah, it was really slick. Are we showing all? How long is this highlight?
So what do you guys think about Jax? Is it one?
He's crazy. I think he's crazy. I think he's got to really he's got to tighten up some things. I think he's tons of fun, and I think probably his kind of fearless over time. His fearlessness will probably like serve him well. I think
So fearlessness generally serves well if people are willing to be truthful with themselves about the results.
Yeah.
But if they're delusional about the results, then it can be really bad, because they can just keep making the same mistakes over and over and over.
Yeah. I mean, he makes plenty of them, but he does some brilliant stuff like we saw.
Yes,
like he's
absolutely.
Really passing
like that.
Legs.
Well, he did a leg pass. And listen, folk style, that was very smooth. But freestyle gave up 2 points.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe he went 2-1. Maybe it was a better choice than giving up. Maybe it would give the 2-point takedown. Yeah, just 2.
Yeah.
Like that one, I actually go back. Can we click back that one real quick? I don't know how they didn't give Blue Guy 2 on this. I mean, I know that Jax Forrest created that motion. Generally speaking, it's something like this. Pause right here. Okay, wait, pause. He's about to expose himself, right? Now listen, if I'm reffing, I fully understand. Jax Ward is doing this to himself, and the defensive man has to hold him here. I get this. But when we're watching scrambles like this, just like the leg pass, the guy didn't hold him, right? 9 times out of 10, foreign referees are going to call this 2 points. And I mean, domestic also, right? 9 times out of 10, freestyle referees are going to call this 2 points, even though I probably think it shouldn't be. So, like, I don't know. It probably wasn't a good decision, right? They didn't call 2 somehow, which was great, but they are going to call 2 there most of the time. So, kind of like, what was he doing here? Ooh,
I don't know that he exposes, man. I really
guys,
don't
he
think
clearly exposes. Rewind that.
I know. I just watched
Rewind.
it.
A lot of times when you cartwheel over your head like that, they don't. The thing is, his back was past 90. Like,
yeah, his
over
back
his
was
head.
past 90 for sure.
So it's like bridging on a.
As he goes
leg
this
lace or
way, his
something.
back's past 90. As he goes to the right, a little more, right there. That's exposure right there.
Yeah.
Okay. So, which I mean, like I said, you know, most times they didn't call it 2, which is great, but lots of times they do call that 2. So, yeah, he's a lot of fun. I'll love to continue to watch him. Interesting to see how
He's got good slide bys, good crotch locks, but.
Yep.
Man, we had a couple guys with some nice slide bys.
Kasich has a nice one
gosh.
as well. Tyler, keep playing
going.
this clip through.
It's just getting good.
Or bad.
Sorry to all the Spotify users out there. A heads up, we will no longer have video on Spotify, so you're gonna have to go to the.
Oh wait! Oh no! I'm sorry. I thought
go back and watch on the website.
No, this is it. This is it, Ben.
Yeah.
This is what
Boom!
you want.
Boy, pushing him backwards and he foot hooks. Like that was genius.
Yep. That was slick.
Yeah, that was very smart.
So yeah,
which I don't know if the Indian guy would have just stepped out of bounds there. Well, obviously he could have circled this else, but if he just would have stepped out of bounds at 7-7, I'm curious if Jax Forrest wins that. I don't know what the criteria.
Yeah.
I think it's 3 2s and 1-1 to both parties, but maybe not.
That was an amazing exchange there by Jax. Yeah. All right. Man, I want to talk a little college wrestling here.
Wait. Who? Let me see. Who didn't we talk about?
Castillo.
We didn't talk about Munaredo. I don't have a ton to say about him. I watched
for me,
him.
the super light cadet weights are the same as the heavies. Like,
yeah.
You look good, but what does that mean? You know, when you're winning it at 48 kilos against 45. The world.
I mean, you guys put up that 45. Graphic where we win this weight class like a lot. Did you guys put that graphic up? I feel like you did a couple days ago.
What graphic?
No. of how America does at 45 or whatever the latest.
Oh yeah, we almost.
I'm gonna go to your Instagram right now.
Yeah,
we win almost every year.
We're good at cutting down.
But to my point, like Kurt McHenry won. Like,
what'd you call him?
Kurt McHenry. He can't remember his name.
Henry.
I'm
just being a bully.
Like, and then he couldn't start at the college level
yet.
Yeah, Kurt McHenry, did he win that weight class twice?
Twice.
I can't find. Interesting.
Okay.
So I think you're very good for a high school wrestler, but in terms of like a college prospect, I don't put a whole lot of weight in.
Sure.
No.
Too early to tell.
The 2 lightweights.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So some good stuff from the NWCA convention. A variety of wrestling related news I want to talk about. One that was not related to the convention, but Brody Teske entered the portal when we were not doing the show, and it came as a surprise to me when someone said, "Hey, he's in the portal now," and then I was even more surprised when it sounds like he's going to Iowa. Including in my interview with Tom Ryan, he's like, it sounds like he just put it out there, like it sounds like he's going to Iowa. Which, if you remember back years ago, the showdown to get Brody was Tom in Iowa and Cale in Penn State, and they both wanted this kid in the worst way. I mean, they were after this kid, and he ends up going to Penn State, doesn't last, leaves, goes to UNI, does great, but now he's leaving UNI, so they've got a lot of different. So I don't know what it means. I know Brody had to. My understanding is he had to really hustle this last semester to graduate, so he could be a graduate transfer. and now he's who knows, looking for his next stop. I think it's a little concerning. He's been to 2 really high quality programs and it hasn't worked for him. So is the third stop going to be the one that sticks? One way or the other, that'll probably have to be true. But I'm surprised because I thought he had a good level of success at UNI. But
yeah, I just look back at his record. So when you look last year, 2022, he was 14-8 versus 14-3 in 2021. But man, last year all his losses were pretty damn good. So McKee, Vito, Cardinale, Barnett, Cardinale, Mastro, Vito, and then the one that was not very good was Cabin Band, whatever that damn Iowa State kid's name is.
Caban Band?
Caban Band? That's how you say it? Oh yeah, that is. I don't know. I thought that was a D. I'm an idiot.
So he's leaving, and you have to assume if he goes to Iowa, he wants to go 133.
No, I heard he's on a Vision Quest.
He just wants to wrestle off. It's like the quickest way to get my hands on Spencer Lee is just to go to that team and beat him out of his spot as he tries to make his win his 4th title. That would be that's an interesting move. We'll see where he ends up matriculating eventually. But right now it sounds like the Hawks. Speaking of the Hawks, Nelson Brands got engaged on a mountain. Happy engagement to Nelson. He was on a 14,000-foot climb, which is something he appears to really enjoy. So, congrats to Nelson. Okay.
Dang, I didn't know we were having an engagement section. We need to start doing some more.
That is a long.
Oh, you know who I saw got engaged last night?
Who got engaged?
I feel like it was on Instagram because Josh Otto retweeted it, or not. That's not what you do on Instagram. I don't know what the hell you do on Instagram. I believe Eric Barnett got engaged.
Eric Barnett got engaged?
Now, what if I'm just putting news out there? Now I need to go fact check myself. I'm just talking
his
crazy.
Girlfriend's listening, and now she's like, Eric. It's time.
I swear, Josh Otto, it's not called retweeting. Whatever the hell you do on Instagram. Yeah, that. Well, when they post on the story, they post someone's post on the
Look
story.
How quick he pulled it up. Someone's engaged.
Who?
Look at your screen. Stop looking at your phone.
I'm looking at my screen, and you got Jack Forrest right here.
No.
Oh, there we go. See? You're so fast, Tyler. Look at you. Now that looks like an engagement picture to me.
It sure do. Wow, future DILF.
Chano, what's wrong with you?
Got it.
I didn't even read that.
Yeah, you did. That's why you had us pull it up.
I mean, I'm looking at Eric Barnett's profile right now. So it looks like Eric Barnett got engaged, and it's at Glacier National Park. So these these wrestlers, they love the outdoors and they love the women. Tremendous. Have a great life, guys.
That they do. Okay. Other stuff. Talked to Tom Ryan for a while, and
I listened.
Thank you. He confirmed they're gonna be all hands on deck. They will put their absolute best lineup out there.
Well, that's not totally true.
Yeah.
How's it?
That's what
Then he said no.
He said unless Feldman was way better than.
He said top 5. He said top 5.
Yeah, but it's. I mean, he said it without saying it. He's not better than Orndorff right now.
He said Orndorff's
Is that what you
not
thought he
beating the
said?
tar
I thought it sounded like they were competitive.
I think it's maybe competitive, but I think it's Orndorff right now.
Okay, fair enough.
But with 33, it's going to be Buzakis or Mendez in all likelihood. He did throw out that Andre Gonzalez could go there.
Gonzalez he looked good at juniors.
He could also go down to 125. He also said that Malik has a red shirt still, which is hard to fathom. 2 more years, Malik and
that wouldn't make any sense at all because if Gonzalez is the better guy at 25, then he's gonna be the better guy at 25 for more than 1 year, right? And then obviously with both Mendez and Buzakis, you're not gonna right? I mean,
I don't think it's likely that he redshirts, but he just said he does have one.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
He also said that Gonzalez could go 33.
How would he beat one of those other dudes?
Maybe he can. Maybe he is. He's the guy that sees him.
Gonzalez had good, not great results this spring. I feel like.
Yeah.
Now I got to look him up.
What he said, Ben. Don't beat me up. Just tell him.
I listened to it too. I know that's what he said. But here's what.
He made the finals.
I don't ever
juniors.
take all the. Sorry, what did you say, JD?
He made the finals of juniors at the Open Lost to Spratley. He pinned Joey he beat Volk via injury.
His injury yeah.
That's right.
If you
forgot
hurt
about
someone,
that.
then it's a lot easier to beat them. It's kind of a good strategy.
But Christian, all these college coaches, they especially in the summer when there's not that much competition, they feel seemingly better about their guys because the guys are probably in there. They are probably working hard. They're doing a great job. And if you listen to I listened to Zeke and Tom Ryan because he said those were both good. Like they both feel very, very positively. And so I think you need to tamper those expectations just a little bit to be fair.
Well, I don't have high expectations for them. I'm saying what he said. It's going to be Malik at 25. Gonzalez is not going to start. And it's going to be Mendez or Bazakis at 33. We know this, right? And then one of them's going to redshirt. They love D'Amelio. Sasso's staying down for the team. Patty's probably the biggest question mark for them this year. And Tom called it. He said, hey, he had some head-scratching losses. He had a slow start.
Did say he was injured.
Yep.
Last season. Couldn't train how he wanted to.
Yep. And then basically same lineup from 65 up with Feldman likely sitting with Orndorff being the better option for right now.
Yeah. I thought it was I knew Giag was good, but again, maybe take it with a grain of salt because they're more positive about the guys, but it sounded like he thought Giag was really, really good.
Man, they love Giag, and they're not the only ones.
Love him. Oh, really? Who else?
Yeah, when Mike got back, he's like, Giag is for real. Like, going to be an absolute factor. Yeah, he thinks he's really, really
remember,
good.
he was one that I brought up that had a really good, maybe like 8th grade, 9th grade year, and then a little bit kind of, I don't want to say fell off, but like you didn't hear a lot about him, and then kind of came back the last year or so.
Yes. So they'll have some talent behind their guys as they get ready to graduate. So that was cool catching up with Coach Ryan, who also talked about, he's never one to shy away from criticizing officials, and I think he was giving them a run for their money at the convention when they were going over the tough calls, particularly the O'Toole Karchler reversal that wasn't but wasn't called. And his thing is like, look, replay should be 100%. You should never get it wrong. You should either have like inconclusive or it should be right. Like there's no scenario, and he's right. How do you not have someone in the booth that knows the rules? And his thing is like, who are these people? We don't even know the names of these officials, and why are they not? Is there any sort of?
I actually like that though that they don't, because we talked about this last week with actually an official they volunteered to come on and talk to us, but in freestyle, remember I talked about the book I was reading about choice and decision making and extraneous factors, and when in freestyle the reviewer comes over, sits down next to the person who already made the call, and they tell them what the call was on the mat, and then they rewatch it, and obviously they feel like, okay, if I overturn this, then I'm essentially telling that guy right there, he's sitting next to me, that he's wrong. I think that's probably less optimal.
Well, you've got people in a booth very removed from the situation, theoretically. I mean, I'm not saying, I'm not talking about the officials communicating with the officials. I'm saying the college coaches should know who is sitting in the booth and making the wrong call and saying that this is not a reversal when it's a reversal, right? And there should be like some sort of accountability for that, which there doesn't seem to be.
Well, so I guess what I would push back on what he said is, what do you? So he said just because they overturn it or they confirm it doesn't mean it was the right call.
True.
So who is the arbiter of what the right call is? Because now there's probably some that are relatively clear, right? Let's think Mason Gibson versus what's his name. I think if you had 100 people vote, it would probably be like 99 would say that was not a takedown. 1 would say it was a takedown, right? So what is right and what is wrong
was in Fargo, as it turns out.
Is pretty clear. But what's right and wrong is pretty clear. But there's a lot of situations, whether it's a 2 swipe on a back near fall count, right?
For sure.
Or something like that.
For sure, near fall.
Right, where if you had 100 people vote, it would be 60-40. Or, something that affects like what is right is not clearly evident. It's really close. That's probably honestly why it's being reviewed, because it's not all that clear, so I think you have some things that are in the margin that are very close. Or was his knee down, or was he all the way behind the hip, these type of things. Does that make sense or no?
To also play devil's advocate to your and Tom Ryan's point, I think some smaller programs would disagree that they would say, hey, these bigger programs get all the calls because these officials are right here. They know these guys or whatever, and you ruling against, Tom Ryan, Brands, John Smith. Whereas if you don't, you're in a booth removed and they don't know who you are free to make whatever you feel is the right call, free of influence from big coaches.
Oh yeah, I don't think the booth reviewers need to be near the coaches by any stretch, but I think they should be sitting there with every camera view necessary. I mean, for NCAAs, this is not reasonable.
Okay, but hold on, Christian. What is your pushback? Well, I guess, or do you agree with me that when we say right, what is right is maybe not always evident. Do you believe that to be true or false?
I do believe that is true in a few circumstances in wrestling. I think near fall is one. I think anytime you're involving reaction time is another. But beyond that, there's some clear stuff. It just doesn't get.
Agreed.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, maybe that is idyllic. I think near fall is always going to be a question, but in general, I think it should be closer.
The obvious way you could do it near fall would be some type of attaching electrodes to their shoulders, and when they cross 90 degrees to the mat, that the timer starts. Right? I mean, that would be like a way to solve for that.
Now we got AI umpires. Too,
I'd do
baseball.
AI umpires.
This would be fun to just kind of like do like a test, like for a wrestle offs or something, and like beep, beep.
Yeah, but you can't. Maybe you can, and I'm just not smart enough. But like sometimes you expose your back when you're on top.
Well,
you could. Well, you could do it. I got it. You want it?
So you could say this guy's on top, this guy's on bottom.
Yeah,
or they're in neutral.
On the track or floor arena, it reads that. It reads which person's.
Yeah,
on
but
top,
okay, what
bottom,
about a
right?
leg pass?
We're neutral, so a 2 has to be awarded.
Neutral. If you're on bottom, they should start counting. That's what coaches argue.
Yeah, or that too. That too. If you're on. Could be
or neutral danger could be an auto call too, because the computer program, and I'm not a computer programmer, Christian Piles, get the quants on this. The computer program could read, if wrestlers are in neutral, it must be 30 seconds or 3 seconds past this. If their wrestler is on bottom, then it would be 2 seconds past 90 degrees in any way, shape, or form.
What is Keith Gothard talking about? If big
programs, what do you think? And this is kind of a good idea. We might have invented something, guys. Let's do this.
I'm going to invent it.
I mean, it wouldn't really be that hard. Electrodes or something to that effect that attach to a computer program, which reads if it's past 90 degrees. I mean, honestly,
getting something that sticks to a sweaty human body for 6 to 7 plus minutes throughout the entirety of a match that will not affect the match at all.
You just because
if they had a little grip, you could like grip their shoulder and do the shoulder pull, knee pull.
These things could be very small.
Yeah.
Okay. Other lineup stuff not related to Ohio State. Glory is going to go 25.
Okay.
Now this is a weird one for me. Quincy Monday wants and is planning to go 165 next year, which to me makes very little sense. Coach Ayers did.
Sense.
He mentioned he will certify at 157, but is planning to wrestle 65. And if I'm Chris Ayers, I am doing anything I can to convince Quincy Monday to go 157, where he'll be the number 1 ranked guy. A weight with Deacon graduated, cars moving up. We could get our first national champion since when? I don't know.
Yeah, but to win at the next weight class,
65.
That's gonna be a beast.
I mean, cars going up first of all, but I'm not saying that's the least of your problems, but that's just one of the many problems. You've got Keegan's back.
That's the start of your problem.
That's just the start. You got Shane Griffiths there. You've got Keegan O'Toole, the returning champ, is there. Carson Karchla is coming back. He's going to be as tough an out as anyone.
Yes.
Hamidi.
Huh?
Hamidi will be there.
Hamidi, Peyton Hall. It's a monstrous
national championship,
monstrous weight, and I think you you got to find a way to get him down. And I also, watching him, never thought he was particularly big. I never watched him and was like, oh, this guy better go up. I mean, the guy he wrestled in the NCAA finals, that's a man that could go up to 165, Ryan Deacon. But I never thought Quincy was all that big.
Yeah. I would agree with that sentiment. And
what is 157 without Quincy and David Carr now?
Not very good.
Man, let me pull it up here real quick.
You hear the rankings.
The Hankings.
Teamer, Peyton Robb.
Oh my gosh, the prophecy, Ollie. It's gonna happen.
Brayton Lee will be there.
Brayton Lee, yeah. It's not nearly as good as 65.
Man, Sauce O'Connor coming back.
Boy, and you know what? You know who's got? If you're Levi Haynes, Keel Sanderson, how do you not be like, listen, where you go right away here? Look at this weight class. Oh, Austin O'Connor. Oh yeah, he was hurt all last year. Ed Scott. So yeah, Will Luwan's
There's
back.
some good guys, but
It's good.
if you want to compare that to 65, like
Oh
give me a break here.
Gosh, yeah.
And 65 is kind of absurd.
Keegan, Shane, Amin, Hamidi.
And that you guys don't have David Carr in there.
Yeah, Carr's not even been moved up yet. Oh, gonna be insane. So we'll see. Him repeatedly mentioning that Quincy was gonna certify at 57 makes me think that they'll probably try to convince him to stay down. But obviously he'll have a say in that. Cordell Norfleet will be back for Arizona State, according to Coach Zeke Jones. Sounds like. So that's
You've been duped.
We've been duped. I don't think we were duped. I just thought he was gone.
You never know these days. They have
you never freaking know. But the biggest news of probably in wrestling of the last month is that Joey Silva is back.
Stop! I thought you were gonna say something serious.
I did, and I am.
Do you think Sebastian Rivera went down to Puerto Rico and said, "Hey, why don't you come to Rutgers? Now only we be Team Puerto Rico, we be Team Rutgers also."
That's seemingly what happened. But no, he'll be back. He's gonna be in a dogfight to start there with Heilman at 133. Rutgers is gonna be pretty good. But I'm glad he's just back in college wrestling, and I hope it works out. It sounds like for Rutgers, Saldano or Poznansky at 84 for Rutgers this year. They both have red shirts, and
dude, hey, can you explain to me?
Maybe.
Why'd you guys get quiet? Oh, you guys get really quiet. Check. Can you talk again?
What's up?
Oh,
we hear you. Just go ahead and say it. What?
Can you explain something to me?
Maybe.
Is this John Poznansky guy? This mug, he All-American as a true freshman.
4th place.
Okay. Very impressive. Listen, he was losing to some dudes who weren't all that good at UWW juniors this year. What's the deal? Someone tell me.
I don't know.
184 has been weird the past 2 years where, like, outside the top 4 guys, they are all beating each other pretty much.
But he was
but he lost to like.
I agree that it's still weird and there was regression, but I will say the 184 weight class as a whole is very odd.
I think it's more about his true freshman year was crazy. I mean, he only had a few events, and then boom, he did awesome at NCAAs, and so he got 4th, and then so really last year was effectively his freshman season. First time in the full rigor of the Big Ten schedule.
He was 11-4 and took 4th.
I know.
He lost at Parker. He lost to Hidley in freaking tiebreakers. I forgot that. Oh my gosh,
that was a crazy match.
Aaron Brooks and Owen Webster. Maybe that's not such a good loss, but he beat Rocky. He beat Rocky Jordan. He did beat Owen Webster. Beat Dakota Gear. Beat Louis D. Perez. He beat Gear twice, I guess. Dang. Beat Nelson Brands, and then now at he went 1-2 at UW U20 World Trials, losing to DeAnthony Parker and Wyatt Volker. One of those is a high school kid, so like that was like, and I haven't watched this guy a lot, so I don't have a good answer for you, like why he had that success and now he doesn't. So that's why
Yeah.
I'm trying to get educated.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Okay, other things from the conference, convention, whatever. APR concerns are big within the sport of wrestling. Wrestling is bad with APR. Only football, basketball, and track have worse APRs than wrestling.
What's their assumption?
Okay. Well, so you would like this. You would have liked this part because
Okay.
wrestlers entering college about where everyone else does academically. Everyone's on very similar footing. And our freshmen perform far worse than like every other sport than most other sports do as freshmen.
I guess, and I don't know if you know this, but what is the definition of like we're coming into it like on par? Like, is it high school grades, ACTs? What we're talking about?
Just basically their overall academic portfolio, the GPA, and their test scores. So they're coming in at a certain level that would suggest for every other sport this level of success in their first year. And there's a huge drop off in that freshman year, and that's where we're seeing the vast majority of the APR hits are with that class. So they're like, there's something happening in this first year that is having a really negative impact, and it's like a high degree of them are redshirting. Only like football has a higher percentage of redshirts that freshman year. I think that's a big part of it. So they're all these.
Because our kids are because the kids in wrestling are redshirting, that negatively affects.
That's as a theory.
I wonder why. Because they party much. Because they party because they're not really competing. Is that why?
I think there's less. I mean, the teams are gone over the weekends or for extended periods of time. You're just left back behind. They didn't get into any of these. They didn't get into any of these theories.
I want to get into theories right now. I'm fascinated by this.
Hold on, I've got them. 1 second. Let me see if I can.
Oh, you got the grades.
You got
the receipts.
So
release the tapes, Christian.
Yeah, we wrestlers lose more APR points in the first year than in the subsequent years, like significantly more. Wrestling has the second highest percentage of first generation college student athletes, which we knew that. Redshirt rate is second highest. That's a big thing, they think. And
I wonder if difficulty of
sport.
like I don't know what you call it, but like I mean, yeah, it's freaking hard. Wrestling's harder than, I don't want to say all the sports because there's some that are pretty hard, but at least when I was in college, the rigor on the wrestling team versus many of the other teams, it was significantly more rigorous.
Mhm.
And so if you thought just sport, right? Because that would affect your enrollment because some kids go places just for sports. Just the likelihood of someone completing 5 years of that sport is less likely in wrestling than other sports. But if you're telling me it's all in the first year, I guess then my theory is out the window.
Yeah, they say that wrestling ranks in the bottom of credits earned both semesters of freshman year. So we're not finishing a lot of classes that freshman year compared to how we should, based on their expected performance coming in. So that's a big problem. That's why you saw the 2.0 GPA rule, that you have to have that throughout. That's, I think, the scholarship allotment, 20% or zero.
And red shirts can't you can't wrestle as a red shirt, right?
You
can.
Is that the rule?
You wrestle unattached, or now you get five
attached
appearances. You have to be a true freshman for that, though.
Correct.
So
but then if you wrestle attached, then you can't do those second semesters. So people will surely be saving them, some of them, right? You have 5 attempts to wrestle attached.
Yeah.
And so but in first semester you can't wrestle unattached. So if you were to wrestle, it would be attached.
Yes.
So you wouldn't want to use all 5 of those in semester 1
True.
because then you wouldn't be available for duels or anything else semester 2.
Well,
right?
unless
you can't wrestle unattached for a semester anymore?
You cannot.
As a true freshman, you cannot wrestle unattached in the first semester.
I forgot about that or missed that.
So you can enter them attached at an open or whatever. Also, Ben, I mean, in second semester,
that stinks. That's when we saw a lot of red shirts wrestle.
I think that's part of the problem. All these kids are gone and piling into the, Volkswagens and,
Yes.
Well, especially now.
They're not wrong on that, because especially if you think about when the college opens are November, December heavy. That's like when exams and final projects are being done. And if you're gone every single weekend and you're making weight, man, it's especially some of those dudes where the college coaches think they're picking the wrong weight class for them. Like, they're miserable because they're freaking cutting weight like the whole week, and then they're traveling. So yeah, I mean, I guess that would make a lot of sense.
Yes.
What's going to become of college opens then? Because I know a lot of like starters aren't doing them anymore, especially in November, December. Like they were like kind of redshirt tournaments. They've turned into like redshirt tournaments.
You can still go. I mean, you get 5 of them, and you can also. There's nothing.
But there will be less. You're going to go to less, of course.
Yeah, but they're all in the first semester anyways, by and large.
Yes.
But Tom Ryan spoke about it.
Problem, right?
Tom Ryan spoke about it, that because you only get 5, it's like, well, we might want to use you in a couple duels down the road.
If you hit 5 opens in November and December, you're wrestling entirely too much. Like 2 to 3 opens during those first 2 semesters is plenty.
Man,
because in second semester,
I wrestled in a whole bunch of them, but yeah.
Well, yeah, you had your. You don't count for any of this conversation, Ben.
I know that.
You're an exception.
Got it.
So, yeah, they. I think it's gonna be good. I don't think it's gonna crush opens at all, because that's just true freshmen, right? Anyone else can go to the opens, attached, unattached, whatever. So sophomore and beyond can. It's just first semester true freshmen have to be attached. So I
mean, the other thing is, I don't have stats on this, but I would be curious to see how many of those people the opens to JD's points were first year guys. I think it's actually kind of a decent number, because when I think about my college class, other college classes I watch, not only is that first year maybe bad for academics, but that's also when a lot of dudes quit, right? Because maybe they don't have a real understanding of what Division I wrestling is going to be like, and they show up and they're like, "Holy moly, this was not what this is freaking hard." We had this one dude. Hey, want to hear a great story?
Yeah.
About this topic. There's one dude, I don't remember his name because he only lasted a few weeks, but we were doing stadiums. Stadiums are the worst thing ever. Brian Smith, I hated stadiums. You know this. I've already told you like 50 times. But this one dude's running stadiums, and he's in the line by, like, I think it was Coach Pritz. He runs up, so you had to run the whole thing, right? But the coaches are standing like halfway where you can exit the stadium. He runs up that person. He goes, "Coach, this isn't for me." His ass just kept on running, never came back. He went to the locker room, got his shit. We never saw him again. I don't remember his name.
Oh my gosh!
Legend.
What a way to go!
Ran halfway and said, "Coach, this ain't for me." He just kept running. He didn't want to talk about it. He was gone.
He got one last good one in, and then
when you know.
He called it a career.
Yep, he was out.
Good for that guy.
So I think there's probably some factor in that also.
100%. That's a big part of it.
Question from Rick in the chat. A tournament is the same as a duel concerning the 5 events.
Yes.
What about a multiple day tournament?
I think
is that one? Because I think, isn't the rule date of competition? You get 5 dates of competition, meaning is 2 days 2 dates?
Well, most opens are 1 day, but I don't.
No, he said tournaments. JD said tournament, like CKLV.
CKLVs, you can't. Redshirts can't go there.
Correct, but if you
use
that as one of your things of competition,
it would count as one.
Okay,
I'm almost positive.
Are you
even
sure?
though it's multiple days?
Yeah.
Because if duels are back-to-back days, that would be 2 events.
Multiple weigh-ins.
I think the rule says date of competition.
I kind of think JD might be right here. That
would be so stupid. That doesn't make any sense.
If you have a duel back-to-back days.
Yeah, I just know that's the way they counted them. I think that's the way they count them, because it's the amount of dates of competition. So I think day 1, day 2. I think JD might be right here. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get to some questions. Garrett wants to know what it would take for one of us, I guess, to get in the octagon against Ben for a round.
I didn't like this question. This is a silly question.
Yeah, it would take, I don't know, just go and just get taken down and choked out. I wouldn't
want to hit you guys.
You wouldn't want to punch my face. And honestly, Ben, you're not gonna be able to get your hands on me. I am far too elusive.
Hey, John Kozak. Oh,
Who?
what? Kozak, are you sure? He says Russia's won 8 of the last 10 U17s. I swear I looked at 5 of them and they only won 1. So one of us is wrong, and it's probably me.
You beat me to the punch there,
I
then.
swear I looked at well, okay, they didn't win this year. They didn't win last year because India won last year. No, they have. Well, I guess they would. He's not counting this year. I looked on uww.org. Now I'm gonna have to do this research project while we're on air.
University of Wisconsin Whitewater.org or United World Wrestling, because you'll get very different results.
uww.org. Well, it's actually, you know what? Their search criteria is actually decent because you can go U17s and then you can go World Championships, and you find the results relatively quickly. They did not win in 2021 because India won. This year does not count. 2020 didn't exist. I'll start doing my research. Let's go.
Okay. Swayze.
What's the next question?
Wow, this guy's got his Venmo in there. In case you want to Venmo this guy some money. In case you just see someone on Twitter, you're like, let me give this guy $10. That's an option. How about the state of Nebraska wrestling have a solid week with wrestling-related things like a U17 champ. 3 individuals on the U23 team. Kamaru Usman went into the Hall of Fame. He was there at Florida.
Glaring lack of Usman content.
Well, not for lack of trying. He's an elusive man. He left at like 4:30 that morning. So yeah,
he's got a big fight coming up.
Who's he fighting?
Leon Edwards.
Yeah.
Is he good?
Yeah.
You're not gonna beat Kamaru.
Yeah, Marty should win pretty easy.
Okay.
No, Kozak's not. Okay, listen. I ran one in 2018, and India won in 2021. So Kozak, you're on your last lifeline here. If I find one more year where they didn't win,
oh my
you
gosh, another re-termination.
Yep.
Dang it. I don't see Kozak even typing this stuff. Could be an imposter. Is he texting you?
No, scroll way up. Scroll way up.
It was because it was when we were talking about it.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, and he said 4 of the guys are cadet eligible last year. I think he said Munereto, Castillo, Ryder. Who's the other one he said?
He said he thought this. So.
Oh. Okay.
Ooh, Russia won by just a couple points in 2017. He's still alive here. We can keep going.
My name is Jeff. Would CP and Ben consider making a how to run a youth high school program video or book series? You both have a lot of great answers. Well, I should not. I would not. I'm not qualified. But Ben is.
I did a DVD on Wrestling Fanatics. It literally like goes to what we do in our really little kids class, our 5 to 9 year olds. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where actually I have a couple of younger coaches who are at my Funky Fresh camp right now, and they're like, when they ask me a question, I don't know how to do it. But then once I get in there, then I can walk through it. And it's like one of those things where, you do something and you can do it, but then can you actually teach it? And it's significantly harder. And so, I obviously, like with our newer AWA managers, we spend a lot of time talking to them about things, but I don't know if I'm still super comfortable like talking about all the things that we do, just because I'm not, I haven't ever taught it. I haven't sat down and taught a class on how do you do this, So like if you start asking me questions, I'd probably be pretty good at giving answers about how we try to solve or whatever problem. But as far as like, here is our outline exactly, we've never really done that.
Okay. Well, there's a market. At least my name is Jeff wants to see it. JD is currently typing a novel to someone on Facebook.
Jason Hildreth. Well, we're talking about, he said the Scuffle and Reno and CKLV are about to be packed with red shirts this season. I'm just talking about how if you wrestle CKLV, you have to come out. Like, that has to be 1 or 2 of your dates.
Yeah.
Because historically, red shirts are not allowed.
Theoretically, Scuffle, would that would be
a red
second
shirt.
semester.
That would be a second semester one.
What?
Russia beat us by 2 points in 2016.
Darn it.
I know, right? What the heck?
We were right there.
Kozak might be right, but they're getting worse because they didn't win in 2021 and they didn't win in 2018, and they didn't win 2022, and I don't think they would have. You can't prove me wrong.
Gotcha. All right, we're gonna go ahead and go.
You done with my shenanigans already?
Done with all shenanigans, Ben.
All shenanigans.
We will be back.
Hey, we
tomorrow.
have Shane Sparks on tomorrow or what?
I believe so. I sure hope so.
Somebody in the chat wants him to review the Wisconsin State Fair or preview the Wisconsin State Fair.
Oh,
I might be going to Nelly on August 12th. Maybe.
Oh boy,
St. Lunatics.
let's go.
I don't know if they're
Ben loves
Oh
Brad.
my God! Hey, Russia in what year is this? 2015. Preposterous. They won 5 weight classes, 3 seconds and 2/3. It appears.
That's very good. Good job,
Good
Russia. Good job, you, Ben and JD. And thank you so much for listening. We'll see you tomorrow. Happy Tuesday. Goodbye.